Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us on Variant Roles for another episode of Invisible Sun Crime in the Actuality. This is the Party Favors edition. I am your host and game master, Dan Gaston, at MadsideDM on Twitter. I use he, him pronouns, and we are here to have some fun in a surrealist fantasy setting from Monty Cook Games. And thank you once again to Monty Cook Games for hosting us tonight. Thank you, Dice Priority, for the raid. We really appreciate it, and we hope you all have fun. So I'm going to kick it over to our players, and they can introduce themselves and remind everyone their character and who they're playing with their name and their character sentence and what their character is all about and does. So I'm going to roll probably the only dice I'm going to roll tonight when I figure out the order that I'm going to have you all talk in, so I don't just fall into the same old. And I'm starting with Alex. Alex, how are you doing?
Hey friends, I'm doing well. My name is Alex, or Axolotl Cure on Twitter. I'm playing Emma Elizabeth. She is a stoic goetic who cages enemies or something like that. I don't know. I don't like these character sentences. I'm going to say it every fucking session if I can. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, very cool.
All right, excellent. So between the two of you, we are going to Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam. I use she, her pronouns. I play Lucky. He is an ardent apostate who shepherds minds. And I have been waiting for this game for like 2 weeks. I'm so excited.
Excellent. I agree. I have been eagerly anticipating. All right, Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie. I use she, her pronouns. I play Henrietta Delacour. She also goes by Henry. She uses she, her pronouns, and her sentence that Alex hates is she's a connected empath of the Order of the Weavers who discourage creatures. And just for Emma, I am wearing I just got new lipstick today. It is White's creme crayon and sugar flour.
Creme crayon and sugar flour.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love it.
The bold name choice.
It's really shimmery and I fucking love it. So
yes. In case it wasn't clear, our stream is not rated PG-13. It is rated A for adult accompaniment, and F-bombs will be dropped. So you have been warned. Really, at some point, as our stream gets more famous, I suppose I should put the content warning on our stream, so you have to click to acknowledge. But right now, we're not getting in trouble, so that's okay if you all don't complain. So where are we at in the story so far? So one of the great things about Invisible Sun is it is very character driven, and so our sessions have jumped around following different characters' priorities and what they have wanted to accomplish in their life as opposed to a traditional adventure structure. So we've pulled on threads, and in between some of these exciting sessions, of course, all of our characters actually have day jobs. Lucky has a job, but Lucky earns money.
Lucky in quotation marks.
Yeah. Lucky earns money. We'll just leave it at that. But everyone are, living the middle class Vizsla dream that us millennials can only hope to. Most of them own houses. Although the city is racked by a war that nobody talks about, and so we have had some adventures. So some of our current conundrums are the status of Henry's house and the bodega upstairs and the proper ownership thereof, which has led back to a demon named Midnight that used to operate it as a club. So that's a feature thing to follow up on, as you believe that Midnight had at some point gone to the blue, to a library, and is maybe trapped there. And that's something to follow up on. And also, Henrietta's friend has needed some help, as someone is following her for reasons unknown. And you have tracked that back to a man named Hiram, a gross gangster of a man who you kind of want to find out what he's all about and what he wants. But today we are here for our dear friend, Emma Elizabeth.
She's a real peach.
That's one word for it.
Alex, do you want to tell people why today is a special day for Emma Elizabeth?
So, Emma Elizabeth is a goetic, which means that she is a summoner within a very sort of officially regimented hierarchy where you have very clear directions on how you can rank up. The best part about it is when I was reading this fucking rule book, they're like, oh yeah, when you rank up to level 2, there's a goddamn reception. There's a fucking party. And I'm like, yeah, we have to play this. Like, we're not doing this. Like, if I can quit, like, we have to do it. It's absurd, and I love it. So that's where we're at now.
Yeah. So we played out a little bit of that in side scene, because of course, in order to rank up as a goetic to a tier, or not a tier, second degree goetic, you had to summon a creature of at least third level and perform the invocation of knowledge in front of them. And when you successfully did that, there's a private ceremony with your fellow goetics, raising you to the second tier, second degree, followed by a luncheon and a bit of a party. Can you tell us who or what you summoned to perform the invocation of knowledge in front of?
I summoned the ghost of one of my long dead ancestors, potentially one of the first nobles of my house. And that is who I performed the invocation in front of.
Excellent. All right. And of course, we can't go into too many of the details on the rites that transpired when the goetics raised you, because that is secret and the property of the goetics. But we can say that if you've watched any weird movie where masks and robes were worn and secret ceremonies initiated, you kind of get the picture of what Emma Elizabeth...
That's what I expected it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And Lucky and Henry have, been up to some stuff in the meantime. When we last finished, the last session was at a bar, and we sort of finished at the bar, but some time has gone by. Do you want to fill us in on any little things that Lucky and Henrietta have been up to? Sort of off screen.
Well, I guess I can talk about the side scene that Henry and Emma Elizabeth had over text, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Basically, like at the bar, while Alice and Lucky were doing whatever, Emma Elizabeth and Henry had a really nice moment where they talked about how good friends they are. And how that might lead to some unsavory circumstances. But, as a collective, it would be totally cool.
Let's just say murder was discussed.
Murder was discussed. Murder was discussed.
It's on the table.
A long permanent vacation was also discussed.
Yeah.
For our dear slumlord harem.
Yeah.
Long may he reign.
And Emma Elizabeth spent some time finding out information about Hiram, gathering information. and sort of came to the conclusion that Hiram's real powerful.
Yeah.
Sort of all around. He's not a Vizsla, but he's pretty potent. I described him as like, I described him as Kingpin. Think Kingpin.
Yeah.
He's wealthy, he's connected, he has power and clout, but he is also powerful in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So, you are all going to a party in the Marquis district in the house. The party is in Emma Elizabeth's house. A sentient, ever-growing house. Do you want to... Well, I'll leave it because there's a little thing before they get there. So, Emma Elizabeth, you're in your house currently undergoing the goetic part of the ceremony because the reception is sort of just afterwards. But Lucky and Henrietta have to get there. So you would leave Fartown to the Hollows to get on the train and take the train to the Marquis district. And when you get off the train to go to the address, I just want to paint a bit of a picture of the Marquis quarter, especially compared to Fartown. So the Marquis district is remarkably untouched by the war. It is surrounded by ruined expanses, but the district itself was heavily defended, and everything gleams. It's clean. It's not grimy at all. In fact, there is a multitude of thought forms who are just constantly keeping the streets clear and clean of garbage. The houses often have marble steps rising to them. The buildings tower above you like skyscrapers. It's a mix of like government buildings, the like headquarters of important companies like the Emotion Mills Consortium, and then, you know, the houses of the nobility, like where you are going. There is columns, there are squares, there is lush parks. It is amazingly immaculate and opulent in every degree. There is extremely expensive shops and restaurants all around you. And above it all, hanging above the city, is the Sky Tower, which looks like an inverted dagger point down that looms above the city. And this is the home of the Deathless Triumvirate who rule Saturnine. Squads of soldiers in groups of 5 keep order on the streets. And so there's just a constant show of like police force here. They have golden armor, mirrored faceless helmets, and they carry long rifles and glistening swords. And in fact, as you are getting off the train station, a group of 5 of them approach you, and the leader sort of holds out his hand and says, "State your business in the Marquis district."
Oh, good evening. We're here to visit a friend of ours, Emma Elizabeth. She's having a party tonight.
I see. And where's the address of this Emma Elizabeth?
Do I know the address?
I'm assuming you know the address.
Yeah, I would hope I've been to your house before. Yeah, I give him the address of the house as she knows it.
I can put Alex on the spot here and ask him what the address of his house is.
Yeah, right?
Please don't. But I do imagine they have the address. Like, I would have sent out notifications. Or notifications. Fucking.
Invitation?
Invitations. Would have sent out invitations.
Yes.
Because I want everybody and their mother to know that I'm.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I'm guessing it says Henrietta +1.
Yeah.
Yes, that is exactly.
So, in that case, I'll reach into my party bag, which is not nearly as big as my everyday satchel, and hand the guard a very ornate, probably fucking like gold inlaid like piece of paper of an invitation to the guard to prove my sincerity.
Yeah, it's like a gilded piece of parchment, and it's gilded with the inherent substance of wealth.
Yeah.
Like this is literally distilled essence of wealth that is then gilded on the paper, so it gleams more gold than gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After they've looked at it, I would like to kind of take it from Henrietta's hands and put it in my jacket, muttering something about wanting to burn it later.
And yeah, so the guard looks over it and hands it back and says, "Very well." He sort of, you can tell he sort of, I mean, you can't see his face because he just has this smooth, polished mirror, but the head definitely tilts and looks at Lucky and sort of looks hard and says, "Can't be too careful."
Oh, I understand. Pleasant evening to you.
And then they sort of, gesture you on their way.
As we walk away, I'm gonna mutter to Lucky, like, do not fucking do anything with that invitation. We might need it still, and honestly, we could just sell it for something.
All right, that's probably a good point.
Thank you. Behave tonight, okay, Lucky? Just
We went over this.
don't
How many
steal.
times?
Okay, so you say how many times, and yet, what are the rules? Don't steal anything at Emma's house.
At Emma's house.
Because she will know. Do not make a...
What if that's exactly what I want?
You can ask her about it later.
Oh, right. All right. Hey, Emma, is it all right if I steal your shit?
Do not make a scene. This is her night.
That is all the more reason to
No. You're here as my guest, and so I feel a responsibility to make sure that you don't make a mess of this. And I know that you think that you won't, but just please try to just be cool, Lucky.
You are going to owe me after this.
I know.
Don't even act like you wouldn't have brought Alice if she was around.
Yeah, she's been, holed up in her mirror ball for a few days now. I don't know what.
Probably rebuilding that thing you broke.
Hey,
I'm sorry, it's really hard to stay in character because I just laugh at every interaction.
Henry's just kind of upset when he brought it up.
So I'm just imagining this exchange as you're like walking
as we're
down
walking,
the streets,
yeah, definitely, yeah, absolutely.
like shoes clopping on like the cobblestone. You come across what appears to be a school of translucent, large, brightly colored fish that are swimming through the street, like swimming through the air down the street, and they periodically like sort of phase and pass through like physical obstacles and each other as they're swimming around.
Cool.
Neat.
And then you find your way to a building on a street where there's these high walls enclosing the grounds, and you can see this immense house on the other side. But you first walk by a little gate with a little path that leads up to this like tiny little house, like an old person's house. This very small little house that has has like 3 feet of grass around it on either side, and then just these walls rising up above it. Like it is entirely enclosed and swallowed by the house.
Oh no.
The walls definitely are like dark and foreboding where they surround this other house. But like on the outside, they seem like rich, creamy white laced with like threads of gold and like silver decoration. But like when you look in at this little house, it's just like dark and foreboding. Like the walls practically lean over it.
I hope they don't have any houseplants.
I'm gonna stop like just before we cross the gate and kind of inspect it. I'm just making sure that poor people can walk over here without getting lasered or something.
Yeah, so when you look, the gate doesn't connect to the walls. Thank you very much, Spigs from Cypher Unlimited for the follow. So the gate doesn't connect to the walls, and it's a totally different style. And you see like the remnants of like maybe what it was attached to was like a white picket fence. So it definitely looks like the gate used to be for the fence that like surrounded the neighbor's house, but like everything else has been swallowed. So the gate is actually still the neighbor's property.
Poor neighbors. Jesus. What do you think, Henry?
There's the you can
you
see
go
further
first?
down the No, you can see further down the street the gate to Emma Elizabeth's house. This was just like a gate like for the neighbors.
Oh, sorry. I meant as we approach Emma's.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I really think that they should just cut their losses. I mean, really, Emma Elizabeth can't control this expansion.
This is just gentrification at work.
Well, I mean, so you're not wrong, but it's a sentient house. I mean, how much control do you have over another being who clearly just wants to take over this block? Anyway, let's proceed.
How much control do you have over another being? Henrietta pointedly asks Lucky.
Who shepherds minds?
Hey.
Okay. So then you make your way down. Alex, what does the gate to Emma Elizabeth's like family mansion look like?
It's more or less solid gold, or at least that's the appearance of it. It looks like a sort of normal gate to some extent. There's the vertical kind of spikes, I guess, that come up in like sort of like a pointed spade at the top.
Yeah.
Like in the center, there's a circle, and in the middle of that circle is a big fat M for her last name, which is Nara. And beyond that is just a big ass fucking barred golden gate.
Okay. And it's like part of the sentient house, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's all the grass, the walls, the gate, everything that is within the grounds is part of the house.
Yeah. So as you approach the gate, that M sort of on the like logo in the middle sort of subtly morphs and changes until it forms a mouth. And the gate says, "Welcome to Asperia. How can I help you?"
Henry's done this before. So she says, "Hello, house. Lovely to see you again."
Oh, Henrietta, delighted. Are you here for the party?
I sure am, house, and I brought my dear friend Lucky with me as my +1.
Oh, Lucky, yes. I've heard things.
I'm sure everything
There you have.
everything will be above board tonight, so
Excellent. I'll be watching closely.
I'm sure you will, house. How are you doing? How's your day?
I continue to yearn to grow. I feel the need to expand my reach and horizons.
I understand. Don't we all? You just take it really literally.
Well, they say what's in a name, and I do aspire to great things, Henry.
That's why you're the best, house. It's so nice to meet you again.
You know that with you, I hate to stand on protocol, but I do need to see the invitation.
Oh, of course. Lucky, I think you took it.
Of course this one took it.
Yes. as expected. But as you can see, this is Emma Elizabeth's handiwork.
Yes, I recognize it. It is regal as always. Please enter me. And the gate swings open.
Thank you, House. I wish you a pleasant evening. I hope you enjoy the party.
This is real fucked up. Alright.
I love it so much.
I love my house.
And so there's the gate opens and there's like a winding path that leads through manicured lawns. It's like practically a park that you walk through to get to the immense house, which is weird because definitely it's like bigger on the inside. The grounds, like, there's no way it takes up this much room in the district, like from just like seeing the size of the blocks. But it is huge, and so you can just see this tall mansion like looming practically on a hill, with sunshine streaming down and waiting for the party.
I'm gonna be.
Chat's on fire right now.
Would we say that like the house sort of like parts paths like for Henry, but maybe like shuts them immediately behind her?
So Lucky's constantly like getting smacked in the face with like branches and tripping over tree roots.
That would fill me with such joy.
Asperia is totally classist.
Yeah. Like, and she's just constantly looking back like, Lucky, why aren't you keeping up?
Fucking house. Why did I agree to this? Oh, they better have awesome food in here.
Oh, they will. She always has amazing food. The house would do with nothing less, I mean, to be perfectly honest.
You really owe me for this. You know, she's just gonna lord this shit over me for months.
You are going to have a lovely time because I will tell you that she has very attractive friends. And I know how you feel about very attractive friends.
Yeah. Well, no comment.
Shocking.
All right, so no, go ahead. Sorry, Eddie.
You saw this invitation just in case we get stuck again.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
Christ, it's not like I've run into anybody to sell it to yet.
Well.
All right. So you make your way finally up the path, up the marble steps to like the wide porch that surrounds the house, and the tall doors actually just open as you approach, and on the other side is a thought-form butler who is ready to take your jackets and will announce you to the gathering.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Canonically wear a Hawaiian shirt to this event.
Pardon?
Lucky.
Lucky is not actually wearing this, don't worry.
Okay.
But Henrietta made it for him. So of course I had to actually buy one.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I kind of like that maybe he's wearing it as his shirt, like underneath the real nice jacket.
Under the jacket. Yeah. Henrietta also made him a very nice jacket. So
yeah,
I like to think, he would do that. Just rub it in Emma's face. So
I will give over my jacket too, but I'm not gonna take it off because I'm wearing basically a tank top that looks like the same color as my skin, like on camera.
I've been sweating for the past 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't want to make it look like oh yeah, striptease. Like that's not, this is not the stream we're running here.
Yeah, we get shut down by Twitch and
Nope. So I'll keep the jacket on, but yeah, she'll hand over her jacket to the thought form and give him a no way, like a familiar nod.
Yeah. And the thought form just like takes it and then announces you. Lucky, do you give the thought form a last name, or are you just introduced as Lucky?
Just Lucky.
Yeah. So it's like Ms. Henrietta Delacour and Lucky. And so you are ushered into a party. And I probably should have played this earlier, but I think now, since we're getting to the meat of it, we will play our first Sooth card. The Sooth card is played, so the Sooth deck is sort of like a tarot deck in Invisible Sun. The path is all of the suns that make up the actuality. The light of the invisible sun flows through all of these and gives the pathway of magic. And so the Sooth cards give us information and shape outcomes and how reality is working. So we will play our first, basically when we enter new scenes, when important NPCs come into the picture, when people take damage, or otherwise momentous and important things happen, we play new Sooth cards. And this is familiar. We have definitely seen this before. The Swan. All right, so the Swan is the companion. It is tied to Vision, Swans, Blades, and Water. So if your hearts are tied to any of those, it may have special meanings for you.
It's me. It's my heart.
Excellent.
It's my first time.
Oh, excellent. And let me just pull up my cheat notes that I have here.
Ooh, this is, it's a harbinger of luck.
It is. All right, so there's no special effect from the companion in play because it duplicates the previous card. But so meanings: good fortune, good weather, latent talents. So this suggests good fortune and calm weather, and something unexpectedly fortuitous occurring to the PCs. So this is generally overall a good card and a sign of good omens. So you enter into the to the party, and it is hopping, as they say. So you're shown into like an elegant reception room, and there are all manner of people and creatures and beings that are at this party. So like looking around the room, you can see Visley and people who have obviously gone to the changeries and had parts of their body changed and replaced. Some of them minor, some of them more extreme. And maybe we will get to some of the details of those people as we go through. And definitely it is a sign of wealth and opulence. There is free food and drink being carried around by thought forms throughout the party. And you arrive just in time as Emma Elizabeth is brought into the room by several of her fellow goetics. And in front of everyone, a second gem is affixed to your brooch, your goetics brooch, to signify you raising to the second rank. And they basically like remove their robes and things like that to reveal their party clothes underneath.
Yes. Perfect.
Are people clapping because Henry wants to be
Oh, yes. But they're doing that like it's not like a raucous. It's a lot of like
Yeah. Okay.
False claps.
Yeah.
But Henry's mildly uncultured, so she'll let out a very quiet like "woo."
And you see someone beside you who looks basically human, lower body, has a very nice suit on, but has a large head that kind of resembles a bulldog, and has smaller dogs for hands. Like, not dog heads, like dogs, where his
Sure,
hands,
yeah.
where their hands
As you
should
do.
be.
As one does, indeed.
Yeah. Turns and sort of gives you a look. You actually recognize the creature as an elderbryn. They're not human, and they're shape changers, and so they take on various forms. And yes, indeed, his clapping was he sort of has hands up, and the dogs were going like, yep, 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 yep.
I'm gonna say that's my friend, so I know her.
Oh, yes, you know Miss Emma Elizabeth. Excellent,
Yes.
excellent.
Yes, we're very close.
My name is
We're
Ott.
not.
Pleased to meet you.
Oh, so lovely to meet you. My name is Henrietta.
Excellent, excellent. I own a rather excellent cloak shop here in the Marquis district.
Oh, do you? Perhaps I've heard of it. I work at Vivaces, so
Oh, Vivacious! Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Yes, I even though I have no need of the changeries, I have shopped there myself for clothes for some of my more imaginative forms.
Oh yes, I believe I've seen you there before. It's so good to meet you in person.
Excellent, excellent. Well, do enjoy the party.
Thank you.
It's excellent.
Thank you.
As he walks away, sort of one of their hands kind of just like drifts over as like a plate of sandwiches is walking by, and like one of the dog heads just like scarfs down like 3 or 4 sandwiches off the plate.
Charming.
And Emma Elizabeth, you can see your friends. They have like clearly just arrived, just in the nick of time, and are like at the back of the room, sort of as you're shown in. Your parents come up to greet you first, giving you like warm wishes and congratulations. Your father is like pumping your hand and like patting it, very clearly pleased. And your mother embraces you in a very warm hug.
So nice. I'm gonna be fucking self-indulgent for a second and just describe my parents because they're fucking weird.
Yes.
They're somewhere on the border between uncommonly tall and unnaturally tall, both of them. My mother has been to the changeries, so her like her head/face is just like sort of like the top side of a Luna moth. So just constant slow flapping in and out in the sort of z-axis. And father is not been to the changeries. He's just really tall and wears very unusual, really mismatched clothes. They're all like nice in terms of quality, but like the colors are all wrong. Like one arm is like one sleeve is shorter than the other sleeve. It's just all off. But also, I imagine that to some extent, if all these other people have been here, I've greeted them all to some extent. So I'm going to go run over and hang out with my friends for a second.
Okay.
I'm going to approach. I'm going to wrap Henrietta in a warm hug. Henry, it's so good to see you.
Oh, Double E! Congratulations! This is so exciting.
So I'm going to hug her, and then afterwards, hey, Lucky.
So you got
No contact.
another jewel.
Yeah, it's a thing.
No, tell me. I mean, I know you can't tell me all about it, but was it amazing? Was it so fun? Did you? Oh, I want to know.
It was yeah. So I had to summon something that was beyond my capabilities technically, but I did it. I summoned one of my ancestors. He was one of the first mobiles of my house, and I summoned him before the circle and performed a spell, and the other goetics accepted my offering and saw fit to raise me.
That's so wonderful. Oh, Emma Elizabeth, I know you've been waiting for this for so long, and I'm just so happy for you. This is such a good occasion.
I'm just so glad you could be here, Henry.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Oh, and she gives her a little like kiss on the cheek, like, oh
Yeah.
gosh.
And so when you're greeting each other, a woman comes over Emma Elizabeth, and does the like, sorry to intrude, dear. And the woman is also definitely in the unnaturally, creepily tall category and range. Fingers are too long, and actually when you look at them, they actually appear to have an extra set of joints in them, as do her arms seem to, and not double jointed in the sense of like they bend too far, but like literally there are 2 elbows per arm. And her head is actually just a mask. So actually, like, from the side, you can just see the thin profile of the mask. There is nothing else. It is empty. There's just a mask floating where her face should be, and no head. This is your great aunt Anida, and she comes over, and she has a Goetics brooch as well, with 3 gems on it, and sort of shakes your hand and says, "Oh, I'm so glad that you have done so well. You are a rising star." And she's got your hand like clasped, like the old, grandmotherly thing. And
Yeah.
when she pulls her hand away, you realize that she has slipped 3 fat mage coins into your palm.
Let's put that in my notes for a second. Oh, thank you, Aunt Anida, so much.
And on that note, to introduce a bit of a shift for Lucky that I think will bring Lucky possibly some despair. You totally notice this. Like, you see, because like beyond money, like mage coins are magic money, which is what you really need to advance as a Vizsla, to like buy magical stuff.
Because, the rich need more money.
Yeah. But specifically, I was thinking one of the things that bring you despair as an apostate is seeing some of the clear benefits of belonging to an order, right, as well. And
or
this
having
is definitely
an actual family.
Yeah. And like some of the comments is like the reason why she's giving it to you is because, like, unlike her, some of the other members of the family, like, you have followed the true path.
Fucking muted. Oh, well, thank you, Aunt Anida. I'm just so glad to be a part of this order. I know my parents decided to be dances, but I don't know. I just can't help but think that some of the bad blood is just a waste of our energy,
Of course. But we all know that the true route to power and influence is the things we can summon.
That we do.
There's a polite cough that comes from somewhere, and you think it's the house.
Does it just like, you can't really tell where it's coming from? Right. It's just all around.
Yeah. And then a voice just says, "Yeah." It says something about how it's time for Aunt Anida's medicine. The Thought Fork comes over and gives her a tumbler of something alcoholic.
Yeah.
I'm imagining her a lot like the Dowager Countess from Downton Abbey.
Yes.
Yes.
What is a weekend?
Just like I'm kind of imagining her as a double jointed strange version of like Professor McGonagall.
Yes.
Same actress.
Same actress.
So yeah. Perfect.
I guess it. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm picturing it. It's horrible.
Sorry.
I hope you didn't have any trouble getting out here. It's the security's a little tight.
I know. We were only accosted by some guards at the train station and then again by your house, which repeatedly attacked me as we tried to enter.
Oh, look,
Fine,
he's
it was
exaggerating.
great.
Look, he's exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating for shit. You want to see these scrapes I got from your fucking trees?
Ooh, I guess House has heard some interesting things about you then.
All lies, probably.
Well, House has its own.
Sounds like House is a little biased.
There's a polite cough, and the house says, "Please, Henrietta, you know the name is Asperia."
I know.
I don't just being called House. I'm so much more than that.
You are. I'm sorry, Asperia. I was just trying to acclimate Lucky to the situation.
Yeah, well, don't let him forget that I'm inside him right now.
Oh, I'm all too aware.
He will never forget this, unfortunately. For all parties involved.
Well, I do think, speaking to Asperia, that we should do our best to accommodate Lucky as much as we can. After all, this might be the only time he's in a house this week.
Hey, that was amazing, Alex.
Yeah, so good.
That was so good.
That was some delightful shade.
Henry
Yeah, it really was.
Have you had any drinks, any food yet?
Oh, no.
Literally just walked in the door.
Yeah, it seems that the perfect time. But I know where things usually are. So feel free to mingle. I know you have a lot of people that you probably want to greet and mingle with. We'll be around.
I actually did want to talk to you, Henry, about something we discussed earlier.
Oh, of course.
It's about Hiram. I'm gonna pull both of them aside as far as I can. Because fuck if I know whose connections are whose. There's a lot of people in here. Yeah.
This is your friend, right? Your friend from the weird sex club that you go to?
Yes, the very same.
That was very deliberately loud.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's definitely people looking.
So I did some looking, and if we're going to encourage Hiram to take a long break, that might be a little more difficult than we had originally planned.
Oh.
Is there something I'm missing here?
Oh, I mean, not anything major. We're just trying to think of ways to get Hiram to leave us alone, essentially.
I look at Emma like I trust her to give me a straight explanation rather than lie like Henrietta.
I'm not lying. Just, tilting the truth a little.
We discussed killing him, and it seemed at the time like a viable option, but it turns out that might be more difficult than we had originally thought. So for now, I think it would be best to gather information and perhaps see if we can deal with this stalker first.
Okay.
And maybe get to hear him at a later date.
That's fine. As long as I can make sure that Amelia and my people are safe, then that's the most important thing,
Of course.
Thank you for looking into this. You're a true friend.
I do what I can.
Excuse me, Henrietta.
Yes.
I'm gonna pull her over here.
I'll grab a fucking drink.
You were planning to fucking kill somebody and you weren't. Are you insane?
No, it's not like that.
It's not, 'cause that's what Emma said.
Well, Emma said that she would murder him if it meant that I would be safe. So it's
well,
really
that's fucking sweet.
yeah.
You would be implicated.
Friend.
She's not a good friend.
It's a good friend. She's looking out for me.
And you would be an accessory to murder.
Well,
laws are loose in the Hollows, but you wouldn't have to worry about the Bisley police coming after you. It would be anybody who has ever worked for Hiram. You don't know what you'd be stirring up.
Well, that's why she looked into it. To see how well connected he was and to see what our other options would be. Obviously, murder would be, and she kind of murder would be the last resort. I don't want to see blood on my hands. But I also want to make sure that Amelia and myself and anyone else like me are safe to walk the streets of the Hollows or Fartown or wherever without being followed or stalked or potentially just taken for their abilities. It's just you weren't there.
Yeah, I wasn't there. And I'm actually a little pissed off about that.
It's better that you weren't.
I would expect you to come to me first before anybody else.
I know. I didn't want to involve you in that. And Emma came to me. So.
All right. Well, I would appreciate being kept in the loop in the future because I, believe it or not, have a vested interest in your well-being and to some extent Emma Elizabeth's, although it's much smaller. And if you're thinking about doing anything stupid, you should be pawning it off on me before you try doing it yourself.
I'm sorry, Lucky.
It's fine.
You know that.
Just don't let me find this out through her next time.
I won't. You're right.
Fine. Okay. All right.
Sorry for not including you in my murder plot.
Just
right.
Let's just enjoy the party.
Yes.
And I'll try not to let her get to me.
Yeah, it's part of she goads you into these, but you're right. I should have told you at least that we were looking into Hiram. He's a bad guy.
I know all about bad guys.
I know you do. Forgiven. This is all forgiven.
All right. We won't talk about it anymore.
Okay.
Let's go find something to drink.
Something to drink.
So, by the way, Emma Elizabeth, one of your, you have some new abilities as a tier 2 goetic.
I do.
And I don't know if you've given any thought to it, but one of them is you can now summon a familiar.
I have, yes. I don't know if this is within the rules or not, but the one thing that I brought back from the Gray was a mangy white cat named Faust. And if at all possible, I would like to make Faust my familiar.
Yeah, it's so it's a level 1 spirit, and it's from a realm that you choose. So obviously the various suns have different types of creatures who live in them, but I like the idea that Faust is like a spirit of the Gray. So of shadow, so a level 1 spirit. So this mangy cat named Faust, I totally love it. I love it. It's great. All right. So it's not permanently summoned, but whenever you summon it, it can spend so many hours with you before it sort of has to go back and do its own thing and sort of recharge. But you have pretty extensive use of it.
All right.
I think it actually says it hangs around for 4 hours.
Something like that, yeah.
And whenever you have it summoned, it grants you a bene in intellect. And yeah, it basically does want to spend time with you, so it spends 3 to 4 hours a day with you. It doesn't leave your side, and it whispers secrets and things in your ear.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just imagining this mangy gray cat that's perched on your shoulder whenever it's summoned. All right.
Scratchy meow.
this like a pet cemetery cat?
Yeah. So as you know, you're mingling around. There is a large, booming laugh from sort of over by the bar, and when you look that way, you can see a tall, very pale man, dressed in a pale white linen suit. So he's just like white on white on white, shock of white hair. And he has a number of young sort of like men and women that are like associates, friends, extended family, people from the Marquis district, apparently hanging around him. Emma Elizabeth, you recognize him as the ambassador. That's the only name you know him by, is the ambassador. He comes from the Pale Embassy. So the Pale is the realm of the dead, ruled by the Empress. And there is an embassy in Saturnine, because you can go to Pale. So you can just go to where the dead are. But you need a passport. you need to do the paperwork and get a visa. And so the ambassador is here, which is like, the ambassador basically doesn't really do anything. He leaves the running of the embassy to one of his flunkies. And the rumor is that the ambassador enjoys the pleasures of the living a little too much. And so he's just laughing, having a good time. Some other people that you notice in the party. There is a tall, regal woman with shining silver hair and a large pair of white wings, and she fairly glows with angelic radiance. And she has like a golden sword strapped to her hip and sort of enameled ivory armor, like chased with silver. And she is talking with with another woman. Where do we get that here? Yes. Who is sort of like, looks actually grizzled and sort of battle scarred. She's got like a large scar across her face that has sort of cracked her face open. There is like a starry void that you can see through the other side of her scar, and she's just wearing like a well put together suit, and they are standing, and you know that they are apparently two of the Knights of the Vine.
Do I know anything about these knights?
You probably do. So they're relatively well known. There are always 12 knights, and they live in the Obscure Palace, which is technically part of the Marquis district, but is not actually in the Marquis district. It is in the middle of the ruined expanses on the outside of the district itself. And the 12 knights are all veterans of the war.
Mm-hmm.
And the palace like looms above the ruined expanses, which are dangerous, but the knights live there. And they only extend invitations to those that they find particularly interesting.
Neat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and gather my friends and introduce them to the ambassador that I had planned.
Okay.
Hey everyone, let me introduce you to someone really interesting. And I'm gonna like pull them in and like whisper as we're getting close, and maybe someone who can do something for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so as you approach, he's like sharing jokes with the people around him and like generally like holding court. He really likes the attention that he's being given from all these young people. And he is just like pounding drinks. Like just like a glass of champagne comes by, he tilts it back, one swallow, he basically like grabs like 3 drinks at a time off the cart because he's just drinking them so much. And he like sort of dabs his mouth with a nice linen handkerchief and sees you approach and says, "Ah, Emma Elizabeth.
Hello, ambassador.
So good. Congratulations."
Thank you. How are you today?
Enjoying this fine party. Just amazing. Such delectable delights. And his gaze actually lingers a little bit on Lucky.
Well, let me introduce you to my friends. This is Henrietta Delacour. She works at something, and Emma remembers the name, and I as Alex, don't. Uh, and this is Lucky. They're two of my closest friends, and I just wanted you to meet them.
And he shakes Henrietta's hand. A pleasure. Charmed, I'm sure.
Oh,
And shakes Lucky's hand a tad too long. And just says, "Ah, Lucky, the pleasure's all mine. What an interesting name."
I don't know how to respond. I'm caught off guard.
Thanks, I picked it myself.
Pleasure to meet you, Ambassador.
Yes. Interesting. Your friends, Emma Elizabeth, I must say, just seem like the type of people who really enjoy life. They just have that joie de vivre.
They certainly do. They certainly do.
Oh, c'est vrai, friend.
So,
I'm back.
what do you plan to do now?
Well, funny you should ask. I was actually planning on taking a little trip that I was wondering if you could help me with. See,
Oh, of course, of course. Any way I could possibly help.
in order to be promoted, I need to summon a creature of great strength. And I elected to summon the ghost of one of my ancestors who told me such interesting stories, but he could only stick around for so long. Perhaps I was wondering if I could visit the Pale and speak to him some more. Well, I will be able to learn quite a lot. I was just wondering if I could perhaps get some papers drawn up for myself and my friends here, should we ever decide to pursue this.
Absolutely. I would be most pleased to facilitate your travel to the Pale. Of course, of
Thank you.
course.
You're gonna pay for this passport, right, Emma?
Oh, of course.
Well, I think arrangements can be made. Of course, this is not difficult, and I'm always on the lookout for people who can do little tasks for me here in Saturnine.
Oh, of course, I would be. It would be very improper of me not to repay any favor that you would bestow upon me.
Tell me, are you all Visley?
Yes, we are absolutely Vikings.
So for our audience, Henrietta's character, all Visley have some quirks, and Henrietta's is that she actually is physically incapable of saying the word Visley. And for those unfamiliar, Visley is the name for all of our characters in Invisible Sun, who are basically all wizards. So the word Visley gets used a lot, and she can never say it. She has a list of V words of similar numbers of syllables to use as replacements.
Yeah, Corey, who is not here tonight because he's on a well-deserved vacation, actually wrote a macro to pull V words into a Google sheet that I can reference and refresh whenever I want to. So good.
Don't deserve Corey.
Excellent.
Well, I very much appreciate the favor, Ambassador. And if you ever need anything, Emma knows how to get in contact with me.
Well, I do have a little task that could use people of your particular talents and discretion.
Oh, of course. How could we help you, Ambassador?
I don't think he was talking to you.
Hiding out in section of the ruined expanses just outside the Marquis district, I'm afraid that we have a wraith to deal with. So,
I mean,
so for your character's purposes, being dead in the actuality is not really a big deal. You can come back and visit, and people often do. So, like, seeing dead grandma is, like, not that unusual. But in fact, a lot of people, particularly Vizsla, who learn the right spells, can opt to not stay dead and either come back as a sort of a dead person, or like return themselves to life. So death and life is just a part of the journey along the suns. A wraith is somebody who comes back as a dead creature and stays too long, and doesn't want to return from their visit, but hasn't otherwise like returned themselves to life. And bad things happen. You go bad and kill people and things like that. So one of the things is that the Pale likes to hunt these down with great vigor to return them. Basically, they've overstayed their visa, and they're getting deported.
They're getting deported, essentially.
Yeah. I'm going to lean over to Lucky, pat him on the back. I don't think he was talking to me. And I'm going to get a drink.
I must also say, your visage, Lucky, looks so strikingly familiar.
Does it?
Yes, a
I've spent
statue, perhaps, that I have seen.
You may
A
have
new
seen
work
that.
of some artist. What's her name?
Soman?
Yes. Her new installation.
We're acquainted.
I'm sorry.
Were you the model?
What's happening?
As it so happens, I was.
No wonder. Oh, Soman has a great eye. A great eye. I must give her... Please pass along my regards.
Who
I
has
will.
that? What now?
She's a sculptor. Very talented hands.
Oh. I'm gonna go join Emma Elizabeth. I'll see you. She just fucking books it. Beelines it away quickly and efficiently.
So you're familiar with her work?
I am. I had the chance to see the opening.
Oh, that's incredible. I actually wasn't able to attend myself.
Well, you really must. It's, although I can say as good as it is, it does not quite do you justice.
Thank you, Sarah. You do flatter me.
And like at this point, like his entourage is totally like shooting death glares at you.
Oh my god.
Like for monopolizing the ambassador's time, with the exception of one young woman.
Thankfully not glaring at me. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't need all of high society up my ass. Like,
Just most of it.
that would
Yeah,
kill me.
right? I don't know. That sounds like a challenge.
Phew. Well, I don't really know what to say to excuse myself.
He probably at some point, like I think probably his entourage like gets his attention again, and like needs him to tell some story, and then he gets like, you know, someone presses a drink in his hand and he gets totally
All right, yeah,
distracted.
good.
But
I'm a little relieved.
We'll just say later at some point in the evening when like Lucky's like going through his jacket or something, he totally finds like the guy's card.
Nice. Nice. All right.
Like you're not sure how it got there.
I don't know
just
how it got there,
appears.
but
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because of how you described him, like
Yeah.
white hair and the white suit, I pictured him as David Bowie during his like thin white Duke phase.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
now
yeah,
he's David Bowie in my
Yes.
head.
He totally
Yes.
totally is. That's canon now.
Yeah, now he's canon David Bowie.
Yeah,
That's fine. Yeah.
that's all right then. All right. All right.
Yeah, just because he's dead doesn't mean that he's, you know.
I forgot I was being hit on by a ghost.
Right.
He's not a ghost. He is corporeal.
Just a
He's just dead.
walking
just
dead guy. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just because he's dead doesn't mean.
I mean,
that
I will
he's
hang.
rotting.
I'm gonna like hang around in this entourage for a little bit and talk to who I can. Just sucking up to people
Yeah,
as I do.
yeah, and eventually, I think part of the entourage like kind of splits off, like as you're talking to some of the people, and like Lucky's freaking charming, so they kind of get over it, and you sort of end up back at the bar in the vicinity of like Henrietta and Emma Elizabeth again. And yeah, they're chatting with you and
That's cool.
introducing
Okay, I'm
themselves
gonna
and congratulating Emma Elizabeth.
Yep.
Well, Lucky, it seems like you made quite a few friends.
That just happens.
Hmm.
That's what happens when you're nice and good looking.
Oh, I know. I gesture at the entire fucking party. Look at all my friends.
Yeah. All your friends that are here because of a societal obligation due to your place in an order.
Heather's just gonna drink.
Like, you don't have anything to say to that? It's almost like it's true.
Well, I mean, at least I do have an order, like some people.
Henry's gonna drink again.
I mean, if I wanted to, I could elect to live out the rest of my days in total obscurity, never have any part of my life worth recording. I could elect to do what you do, but I don't. I just don't think you have the option to live as I do.
I would never want it.
I can tell.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Tonight just consists of Henrietta just distancing herself constantly from whatever's going on.
She announces it loudly, like a little too loudly, just like, I'm out. And she was whispering, like, Aspasia, please, just find me a quiet place.
Can
I will.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask if I could grab a thought form real quick and get him to send like a really good bottle of wine to the ambassador.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do your I'm guessing like the thought forms in your house are all dressed like English like waiting staff, like butlers
Yeah.
and maids and stuff.
Yeah, certainly a lot better than my fucking dad, who's wearing like half of a jacket.
Yes, and again for viewers, so thought forms are basically like intelligent artificial constructs that are like manifested, so like they look like people, like they look like flesh and blood people, but they have no free will. And they're basically the labor force of Saturday. They are made. People create them, and they do grunt work. There's a lot of classism in Saturday. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So yes, one of them definitely does that. Henrietta, you're in the bathroom, powdering your face and washing your face, or whatever.
Hiding.
I'm gonna be talking to it's a spot Asperia is the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
It's just like what you saw that, right? You saw all that. What just happening?
People seem to be particularly charmed by this lucky fellow.
Well, and that's it's fine. It's fine.
It was not fine.
But like I'm the one who knows more people here, and yet.
I know how you feel. I, after all, am a house.
You.
People take me for granted constantly.
Sweetie,
Who shelters them? Who shelters them from the darkness and the night?
It's you.
I do.
It's you, honey. And she like pats the wall. Though, would you consider maybe letting that elderly couple keep their house? Just a little bit.
Well, I can't take it from them. But I must say, the fact that it just sits there like a cyst enclosed by my glorious walls irks me.
Just think of it as a benign tumor that doesn't do you any harm.
That is what they are. Benign tumor. But it is an irritating tumor.
Asperia, you're sweet. You're a good house.
Thank you. But when it says thank you, its voice like trails off into like that glitchy like you glitchiness. And you're standing there and you're in front of a mirror in the bathroom. Heavy gilt framed mirror that you can see your reflection in. But then your reflection starts not mirroring you.
Uh-oh.
And your reflection leans out of the mirror and reaches for you.
Oh. Asperia, what's happening? She'll like kind of jolt back.
Yeah, so I need you
Uh-oh.
to... Let me just pull this up. So I get you to roll the right thing. I need you to... This is a dodge defense action.
Okay, so is this like, I don't know where my...
So the target, you're not entirely sure what the target number is in this case.
Sure.
Because you don't quite know what is attacking you.
Yeah.
But so you have to build your venture, right?
Okay.
So in Invisible Sun. So do you have any skills, or are you trained in dodge defense?
I am not. I do have calming people at level 2, but that might not apply here necessarily as the
it might be something you could try later.
Yeah.
But for now, like, the thing is like reaching for you, and you physically have to like get out of the way.
I'll spend physicality.
So it would be movement. So for for dodge, it would be Bene spent from your movement.
Okay, yeah, I'll use a movement to add a +1, I guess.
Okay, so that will give you a venture of +1. So you can roll your dice.
I rolled an 8, so that would be a 9.
All right, so you skip out of the way as your reflection like tries to grab you but fails. And your reflection is like leaning out of the mirror, like the upper half of her body, and her arms are like stretching out, but she's still like otherwise anchored into the mirror.
Asperia, it would be really great if you could explain what's happening right now, please and thank you.
And you don't hear anything. Asperia is not answering.
Fuck it. I don't know. I'm gonna leave the bathroom.
So it appears that the like reflection you is sort of the way it's positioned is sort of in between, like you skip backwards, but to get to the door, you'd have to walk through its reaches.
Okay. Well, okay.
Can I? Sorry.
You can't do shit because you.
No, I can't. But I can. But I have an idea.
Oh, okay.
But I don't actually know if I can use it.
Let's see. What could I do? I'm gonna, since I'm within reach of it. Is that right?
Yes.
I'm going to reach out and touch its hand.
Yep.
And use. I'm gonna weave a spell to sort of immobilize my reflection.
Okay. So you're weaving together cold and remind me again, you're cold and sleep, your essences. Yeah. Okay. And so the level of effect. Let's see. What did we do last time for sleep?
It was a level
slower would hinder a creature's movement with a level 3.
Yeah, it was a level 3. Yeah, this time I want to have the qualities of immobility and stillness from each.
All right.
Each thing.
That sounds good. Okay, so if you're still going for this hindering, that will be a level 3 action, so you can spend 3 sorcery points.
Okay.
And so your venture will automatically start at 3, right?
Okay.
Because the level of your spell adds to your venture, and you'll be rolling 2 dice because you are using magic.
Wonderful. I rolled 2 7s.
2 7s. All right.
Lucky.
So you have 2 successes, which is good because actually you think that this is a magical creature.
Mm-hmm.
Or effect, and so you always, to affect magical things, need multiple successes. Just punching it probably wouldn't have done anything unless you spent sortilege. All right, so it sort of like freezes in place momentarily, which will give you the opportunity to flee. So it's not frozen permanently, but basically for like a round, it's stunned or slowed.
Yeah, I'm gonna basically like duck under its arms and exit the bathroom and sort of like slam it shut behind me, like slam the door shut and whisper again, like, Asperia, what? Are you here? What's happening?
Yeah. So what I'll get you to do is you will have to make like a movement action. So you're basically gonna have to like roll. This is gonna be like, because it's not totally frozen. It's just slowed.
Yeah. Okay.
So do you have any skills related to like running or acrobatics or anything?
Nope. Okay. We're doing this live.
All right, we're doing it live, folks. You can spend a bene from your movement pool if you wish to add to your venture.
I rolled a 6, so I think I'll roll with the 6.
Yep. Good. All right, so you dodge out of its grasp and manage to get to the door and sort of like open the door and pop back through out into the main part of the house.
What the fuck? Asperia! Are you there?
I'm afraid I've become blind in that room. What has happened?
My reflection just tried to kill me. So...
Your reflection?
Yeah, she's popping out of... Yeah, she's popping out of the mirror right now. I have her immobilized, but you glitched out. What's happening? What's wrong with you?
I'm afraid I've acquired an infection.
Oh, gosh, sons. We need get. I don't know. Get someone. Get someone up here.
I need this taken care of. Please.
Yes.
This needs to be handled discreetly.
But
if the people here found out that I had a mirror virus infection.
Yes, of course.
The scandal.
I mean, I imagine you can contact Emma Elizabeth discreetly, right?
She's in a very public place. I think anything nearby that I use to speak to her would be overheard. Can you get them?
Yes, of course. Can you make sure that this door stays shut?
I can do that.
Okay.
Unless someone forces it, but I'll do what I can.
Well, if she's like me, then she's not very strong, is she?
There are demons here, you realize.
Well, sure, but
at the party.
Why would they? Never mind.
And that big, tall angel night woman?
Just keep the door shut. We can't let her get out.
All right.
Whatever she is.
Consider the room quarantined.
Thank you. I'll make sure this is handled. Stay in touch. She sort of that run where you're trying to be sort of nondescript, but you absolutely aren't because your butt cheeks are clenched and you're just
you're speed walking
really obviously back towards the ballroom, and she's scanning the room for Emma Elizabeth and Lucky, assuming that they're together.
Not if I can help it.
Yeah. Whoever she can find first.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably see them both. I mean, it's a reception room.
Yeah, so probably I don't know. This is hard. She's going to go to Emma Elizabeth first since it's her house.
Her house, her problem.
Yeah. Hey dear, can I please just take you for a brief moment? There's a minor, just come with me. And she just gently grabs her hand and pulls her back towards the way that she came from.
I'm going.
Asperia is not having a good time.
In what way?
Well, my reflection just tried to attack me in the bathroom.
That's not good.
No, and Asperia just sort of, I don't know, his voice just glitched out for a moment while we were chatting, and then my reflection started doing crazy things, and I realize this is your party, but we need to figure this out. Other guests might, they might get hurt.
I have an idea. How good are you at acting?
I mean, I'm okay. What are you thinking?
So I indicate the gun that I keep on me.
Oh.
So this makes the sound of whoever it last hit, which in this case was a woman. So if you feel like you can pretend like you've fallen and hurting yourself and you need to scream, I could fire this discreetly if we need to remove something.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
It's a possible solution. I admit I'm not one for direct confrontation.
Yeah, I got her sort of, I don't know. I got them sort of trapped in the main bathroom, so maybe that's the only area that this is happening, but it could be widespread through your house. Asperia said he might have a virus.
Yeah. Usually, if we, well, for now, we just need to take care of the one instance, and then perhaps when everyone else is gone, we can deal with it as we wait. I will be right back. I'm gonna bolt over to Lucky for a second.
Hey, friend.
Hey, Lucky, there's something in the bathroom. I'll give you 50. Hold on. Crystal orbs if you kill it.
What?
There's something in the bathroom that we need to be removed quietly. If you do this, I will give you 50 crystal orbs.
All right.
All right? Quietly.
Right. Got it. Okay. What bathroom?
I bring her over to Henry. Henry, which bathroom was this?
It's just this one right over here. You'll have to ask Asperia to open the door. I asked him to keep it shut so that
I'm
no.
afraid he probably won't listen to me.
Oh, I'll go with you. It's fine.
Just a hunch.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, we're friends, so.
Asperia, please let Lucky dispose of anything that needs to be disposed of at the moment.
Asperia?
Asperia.
Dear, are you...
Oh, yes, sorry, I'm distracted by this unpleasantness.
Yes,
You're going to remove the infection.
Yes, we're going to try our very best. Just hang tight. Lucky
Right.
needs to get into the room, though, so just make sure that it's unbarred for his arrival.
Of course.
Thank you.
All right. I'll kind of do that thing where you're kind of like with your back to the wall, and then you kind of slide into the door.
Yeah. So you open the door, and do you close it behind you, or is it left open a bit, or?
No, I'll close it.
Okay. So when you close it behind you, the large mirror on the wall, is in the process of climbing off of the wall, as it has taken on the appearance of the mirror has transformed into a mirror spider whose legs are clacking off the wall, and the abdomen sort of tilts up so that you can see your warped and distorted reflection appearing in the mirror. And I need you to make.
Nope. Just exits. Nope. Deletes Twitter.
I need you to make an initiative check. So this is gonna be. So you might have skills that give you initiative. Otherwise, the pool that you can spend bene from would be movement.
Good. Okay. What would give me initiative?
In your list of skills, you might have something literally initiative.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same as if you're trained in defense, you have.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I don't have anything like that, but I can spend from movement.
Okay. So that would give you a +1.
Okay. What am I trying to?
So you're just gonna roll and add your number to it. Yeah, you don't know what the level of this creature is.
6 + 1, so 7.
Okay, so you are going to go first.
All right.
So you're in a small room with a mirror that has turned into a spider and is trying to kill people.
Okay, great. I
will say, at least it's not still a mirrored version of Henry, because this might get a little.
Yeah, that would be a little weird. I have a skill in breaking objects.
Okay.
Since it's a mirror, can I just break it? Or will that turn it into lots of smaller mirrors?
So
lots of smaller spiders.
So it is a good question. This is both a creature and an object. So I'm going to say your skill totally applies here. And if you're like punching it or kicking it, you're making an attack, like with a light weapon.
Okay.
And so your skill in breaking objects, I will allow you to apply into your venture. And then you have skill in light weapons? I think you always get +1 for light weapons because they're easy to use.
Okay.
It's like punching and kicking. So that's a venture of +2.
+2. Okay.
You can spend out of your physicality pool for Bene.
Okay.
And if you want to roll more dice, if you want to empower yourself with magic, you can spend sortilege, which will give you an extra dice.
Okay. Do I add those two to?
No, you don't
Yeah.
add them together. You as a Vizsla know this is a magical thing. So you have to use magic to damage magic.
Okay,
So
so
you
I would
basically-
have to spend sortilege.
You basically need to either use a spell or some other or a magic ability, like your forte abilities count as magic, or
I don't-
spend sortilege.
I don't know if my forte abilities would really have any effect, though. Like, they're for something's mind, and I don't know if this mirror has a mind.
Yeah, it might or might not. So yes, you can
That's
spend
creepy.
you can spend sortilege, and because you need multiple successes, so basically your venture will add to both, but you need to
Okay.
succeed on both to like actually damage it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at my order abilities now. I could try to use Jolt Mind.
Okay.
I disrupt the mental patterns of a being within short range, and they suffer mental damage in an amount equal to the level of this ability. It's level
Okay.
3.
So it's level 3. So you have to spend 3 sorcery, I think, to use it.
Okay. Okay, so what all am I doing now?
So which are you gonna do? Are you gonna do the Jolt Mind?
It seems like the best choice.
Okay. So you can spend 3 sorcery points.
Okay.
Yep, and so that'll activate it, and so then you're making a dice roll. So this is magic. You are adding a dice because you're using magic, so you're adding a dice. So you're gonna roll 2 dice.
Okay.
And
It does
you're-
say +1 next to the
Okay, so you're actually gonna roll 3 then.
Christ. Okay.
So you
Cool.
always roll 1 because it's a magical effect, and then the
Uh-huh.
plus is an additional plus.
Yeah.
I discovered this the other week, thanks to discussions on the Cypher Unlimited Discord. Seek them out.
That was good to know.
Okay,
And
the first- oh.
I was just gonna say your venture is 3 because the level of the effect always adds to the venture. So you're gonna add
Okay.
3 to your dice.
So my first roll was a 10.
Dang.
So
A 10 or a 0.
a 10.
Right. So in Invisible Sun, that's a 0. The dice
It's a
go
0.
from
Okay, so 3
0 to
then.
9. So 0 is special. It's going to trigger
Plus-
magical flux.
Oh no.
Yeah, but what about your other dice?
I haven't
So
rolled it
it's
yet.
not
Okay.
a success.
Oh my god, I just got another freaking 0. Okay.
Oh no.
So now we're
Oh.
probably creeping up to a major flux.
And then a 3. So plus
Okay.
3 is 6.
So 3 plus 3 is 6. So your mental jolt reaches out. This creature does have a mind. And what like effect is your jolt mind like? What does it do? Like, what kind of mental trauma do you inflict on this creature?
I haven't given this any thought. I would imagine if it can feel anything that it's like getting a very sudden migraine,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
immediately.
Sorry, I think the
Um,
correct answer is
and-
that you make it really reflective.
Mm,
And it gets this sound in its head like a violin just going but constant, unrelenting, and that's about it, in addition to the damage that it takes, mental damage.
Okay. So the reflection of yourself you can see in the mirror like clutches its head and screams in anguish, and you can see cracks appear and spiderweb across the mirror. But because it's a mirror, some of it sort of reflects back on you. So this is the major flux effect. So you rolled double zeros. So you triggered a major flux. And you suffer 1 anguish.
Wow.
That's a big oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Put that in there.
yeah, so
What
anguish.
does that mean?
So anguish is the mental equivalent of a wound. So you have a damage track, right? You suffer injuries. 3 injuries amount to a wound. 3 wounds and you're dead. Anguish works in a similar way. So when you get anguish, you have 3 anguish. And if you accumulate 3 anguish, you die. But while having an anguish, you now have a scourge equal to your anguish in all of the appropriate pools. So your pools are split right between your certes and qualia. So certes are like your physical pools, qualia are your mental pools. So all of your qualia right now have a scourge of 1. So interaction, intellect, sorcery, and sortilege. So a scourge subtracts from your venture.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's so great.
You know, when we
Amazing.
talked about giving Lucky despair, I didn't think that you'd throw him under the bus, Dan.
Seriously.
Hey, I didn't roll double zeros.
That is true. Lucky did this to himself.
Lucky did this to
Story
himself
of Lucky's life.
by
Okay.
like accepting what I offered him.
Don't worry about it. I got this handled.
Excuse me. Emma Elizabeth is the one that came to me.
Yeah,
That's
Great.
true.
So I guess it's the mirror's turn now.
it
So we're
is.
just like outside this bathroom, just like,
Elevator music plays.
Yeah. So you hear the
Emma-
sound of cracking glass, I think, from inside, and the mirror spider screamed when it took the damage.
oh,
So you heard that. Maybe the guests heard it too. I don't know.
oh. This seems like it's going okay.
Can I run over and grab a thought form butler for a second? I'm gonna need you to get a cart with a cloth over it. Just wait out here. We might need to move something from the bathroom into another.
Of course.
And you're not going to speak about that to anyone, ever. Ever.
Of course, as ordered, always. Unless your mother or father ask.
Hey.
So Lucky, you can see your reflection in the mirror, right, which is not perfectly mirroring you. And then as you sort of take your hands down from your anguished face from the mental damage of the spider, your reflection in the mirror grins. A Cheshire cat grin that stretches too wide with too many teeth. That then turn into sharp dagger-like fangs, and you can feel your own face starting to want to stretch in kind. I need you to take a withstand defense action.
Okay.
So again, this is if you have a skill related to withstand.
No.
That will add to your venture. Otherwise, the bene that you can spend comes from your physicality pool.
Okay. All right.
So you don't have
well,
any scourge in your physical stuff. This is
Okay,
a purely
good.
physical
Okay, I will
effect.
definitely spend 1.
Yeah.
That means I'm down to 1 now. 6.
Okay. So your face, you can feel it wanting to stretch, but you retain control over your own form.
Jeez, okay.
Are Henrietta and Emma doing anything outside at this
I'm
point?
gonna go and rap on the bathroom door and say, "Is everything okay in there?
No,
Do you want me to come in?
no.
Are you sure? Are you naked?
What the fuck?
I don't know.
Do
Maybe
you
you
really
handled
think-
it already, and you've decided to take like a victory shit.
Are
I
you
don't know.
insane?
I don't know your life.
I'm trying to keep you safe.
Well, do you need help? Like, you'll still get the money if that's
Find somebody else.
someone else. What? I can't help you with this.
You don't want to be in here right now.
I could help.
That's why you ran away the first time.
Okay, so I just needed Emma Elizabeth to know that her house is attacking people. So I wasn't running away. I was making a tactical retreat.
I'm not really in a position to have a conversation right now.
Okay, so should I come in and help you?
No.
I'm gonna go in and help him. So I opened the door.
I
Yeah,
close
it's-
it behind. I can't let anyone see this shit.
Yes. And in fact, yeah, so you close the door, Emma Elizabeth, and the door like whispers to you as Asperia says, Emma Elizabeth, you know this is all your fault.
Oh,
You're
I
always
was-
you're always
We'll-
traipsing around in those places with strange mirrors. You picked this up and brought it back here.
We will discuss this later. Thank you.
Let's discuss this later, house.
I'm telling mom. No. And actually, because Lucky took Anguish, we should play a new Sooth card.
Right.
As we play the Golden Ship. Wealth earned, honor, prestige, and respect. So this is gold and silver. So any magic related to gold is empowered and silver is decremented. So any magic or effect you're using, ability that says gold beside it or is written in a gold color, add +1 to the venture. If it's silver, it's -1.
well, that's a real bummer.
Joy, the PC earns a great deal of money.
Hey, most of my shit is silver though, so cha cha cha.
Emma's really
Uh,
gonna owe me.
All right. So Lucky, what are you doing? Henrietta has just popped in. That's her action entering in the scene.
Well, I'm gonna try and break it now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough sorcery points to cast another spell, so
So you can do recoveries. Remember, your first 2 recoveries are only an action each. So you could spend the turn recovering. So you would mark off one of your recovery actions, roll a d6, and you can add the result back to any of your pools.
okay, I'd rather just try and kill it.
Okay.
I feel like I don't want to waste my turn here because I've already taken 1 anguish. I'm afraid I'm gonna die.
Okay. But you do know that you're going to have to spend sortilege to empower a magical effect to do damage to it.
Okay, yep, that's fine.
Okay. So you're going to spend sortilege to get the dice, but you're going to have -1 to your venture because you got the scourge.
Okay,
Um,
so that basically cancels out the sortilege point.
no, you still have the extra dice. You're still rolling the extra dice. You just don't
Okay.
get
Okay.
you
But
just don't
I
get
have-
a plus.
I don't get any plus because I have breaking objects.
Yes,
That's a
no,
spell.
that will still apply. Yep.
Okay. Yes. All right. Okay, first roll is 4.
Okay.
So that would
Plus
just be
1
4, I
for the
guess.
5.
Yeah, and 9.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. So we're just looking like for both of them to succeed, and they do both succeed. And actually, I forget if rolling a 9 triggers a special effect.
I just want to punch it. I'm just gonna punch this mirror.
Just say it does.
I'm gonna punch myself in the face.
All right, so you do damage as you punch and it cracks. So you do 2 points of damage for a light weapon. And so as you do, you punch the mirror and it breaks. So the mirror spider breaks into a million little pieces. Deep cultural reference there. Because, of course, a million little pieces is all lies, and mirrors lie.
Alex probably barely remembers this. So.
If at all.
He was just a baby when this happened.
Before his time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep, nailed it.
Look, I'm old.
You're all old. You're all old.
Okay. So yes, the mirror spider like shatters into a million little pieces. Yeah, your hands like kind of cut up. You have a splitting headache. You have deep emotional trauma.
Did I hear that the mirror broke in there?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to open the door. All right, come on, out. I'm gonna pull them out, and I'm just gonna like snap, point in there at the thought form, clean it up. I'm just gonna get everyone away from the scene. Just keep it moving.
Yeah, Asperia is like whispering to you, like, this is extremely hazardous material. You know, we need to isolate this.
I am thoughtful. I was trying to get the because I asked for the thought form with the little cart with like a thing over it, like they carried the food on. So I'm like, just...
yeah, and so at this point they're hustling over because of course like the rounds in sort of action mode are like, you know, like 5-10 seconds kind of thing. So there's not a whole lot of time, but they make their way back. And the thought forms will start like clearing up the material and putting it in the cart as you direct them.
Are Lucky's like knuckles bleeding or anything?
I think so. I think they're a little busted up.
Henry always has a spare handkerchief in her bag, so she'll pull it out and just like gently like wrap it around Lucky's hand.
I'm pretty sure I told you not to come in here.
Well, it sounded like you could use some backup, but it seemed like you handled it, so good job.
Will you just listen to me next time?
Well, you know, you always say that you want to protect me, but maybe I want to protect you sometimes. You can't always lone wolf this stuff.
Again, we'll just talk about this later.
Well, I just want you to know that you have friends.
Yeah, one at least, right?
At least.
And one who owes me a lot of money now.
She sure does, doesn't she? They're still like, she's still like holding Lucky's hand too, as they're like.
All right, come on. We better not draw attention to the fact that there are 3 of us in a bathroom right now.
Anything can happen at a goetic party, right?
Nobody's drunk enough to believe this yet.
Lucky, Asperia whispers and says, Lucky, I have to thank you. That was actually rather brave of you.
Well, remember it next time I have to come in here. Keep your tree roots to yourself.
I have to say, the house owes you a debt.
Yes, I'm owed a debt by Emma Elizabeth's house. All right, I'm leaving this bathroom now. As the thought form goes in, I'm walking out.
Oh, that went about as well as it could have.
You really owe me.
I do. But of course, I'm not going to pay you now in the middle of a party.
Mm-hmm.
Quite suspicious.
Of course you're not. But I won't forget.
Oh, I know you won't.
Was anyone alerted, or is everything going as planned?
I think we're fine.
I'm
We're
gonna
fine,
get a
Dan.
drink.
Yeah. Yeah, no one seems to be paying like too much attention. There was, like there's music playing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So people in the party haven't paid too much attention.
Good. All right.
Excellent. All right. So so as you come back out, a familiar figure comes up to you with ink black eyes, just like solid black eyes, midnight blue skin, and like white hair that like writhes and moves all on its own. You recognize this is Shara, the Kobaran Oracle, the Goetic who you had spoken to earlier, and approaches you. Comes up first to Emma Elizabeth and shakes your hand, offers her congratulations, and says, "I must thank you all for that delightful book that you brought."
I think you mean delicious.
Oh, it was indeed delicious. And as she says this, she's actually kind of like reaches in her handbag and like pops out like a page and like tucks it in her mouth and eats it. As she is a logovore who eats knowledge, and goes, pre-war poetry. It's always tinged with a certain hubris that I enjoy. But yes, it was most interesting. I must say, and sort of rummages around again and sort of pulls out and hands each of you a blood red coin. It was far more valuable than I properly compensated you for. The blood red coins are known as demon tears.
Like T.
Or sorry, demon blood.
Okay.
Demon
I was
blood
going to be
coin.
like TEAR or TIER.
Yeah, no, sorry, demon tears. I had it right.
Great.
They've been called that, or demon drops. They are associated with the red. People venture into the red who get them. They work just like mage coins in terms of they have some magical properties you can use to recharge pools. You can use them along with mage coins for purchasing magical items. They look like a blood red pearl. So, but then they've been like, these ones have been pressed into basically a coin. Yeah, some demons carry them, but they're definitely associated with demons of the red. And Shara says, if any of you are interested, I have spoken to some, and there is perhaps some interest if you would like to join the Church of Midnight.
Well,
we are rather discerning in our membership.
Well, that sounds like an intriguing offer. Thank you, Shara. What does that entail exactly?
Well, of course, the church is the premier organization for those of us who feel constrained by the normal order and rules of things and like to exert our freedom and individuality and tap into our darker urges. those of us who choose to align ourselves with the beings that many call demons, dark gods of the dark and the red. This order, this city is so decadent and blinded to the nature of reality.
Right there. Where can I contact you later?
Well, of course, you remember my residence where I live in Fartown. And if you ever wish to come to the cathedral in the Cloisters district, you can make yourself known there as well. Somehow I suspect you have a penchant for unmitigated rage buried beneath that rather stoic facade.
Despite all his rage, he's still just a rat in a cage. So.
Some of us think that perhaps it's best if everything burns in a cleansing fire.
Wow. Well, I'll think on that.
Lovely to see you again, Shara. Honestly, so glad that you could be here for Emma Elizabeth's reception.
Of course. She's progressing well in the order. I feel like perhaps there is a lot that I could teach you, Emma Elizabeth.
I would be honored, Lady Shara, and honored as I am with your invitation. I feel obligated to let you know at the moment I would have to decline. Decadent as it may be, at the moment this city's order has done quite a lot for my family and I, and well, until that changes, I don't think it would be in our best interest to abandon that at the moment.
In your best interest.
I think that's what she just said, so.
Of course. Well, at some point you may change your mind and find that the help that we can offer to be compelling.
Of course.
Excellent. Well, do enjoy the rest of your party.
Thank you. I'm glad you came.
All right.
Boy, we're just getting offers left and right tonight, aren't we?
Isn't it wonderful to have friends?
I would not count any of these people among my friends.
Your loss.
There's a difference between friends and people you can gain things from. It's clearly something you haven't made the distinction between yet.
Well, no, that's a little unfair.
Is it? Let's
Well,
think about Emma's friends.
are we really going to do this right now? Because
No, we're not going to do this right now. I'm finally going to get a drink. I just punched a mirror.
yeah, you do. Go get yourself a drink.
You earned it.
All right,
So
I'm going over to the bar. So the two
Yeah.
of them are by themselves now.
Yeah.
If you guys want to talk.
All right. So do you have anything particular you want to do?
Aside from bitch about the fact that our house things is my fucking fault.
You know, I'm sure Asperia didn't totally mean it that way. Any number of people from, your order might have brought this thing with them. So, I was just the unlucky bystander who came across it first. So
That is true. I certainly don't think it was you, but to some extent, Asperia does have a point. I'm not entirely discerning with where I spend my time. And though I don't entirely intend to change, I think perhaps my next gathering shouldn't be held here.
Perhaps not. I'm sure there's a venue that you could rent out for future.
Yeah, I think that would probably be for the best.
Yeah. Alex, would Emma Elizabeth like some despair?
I'm sure, why not?
So you notice actually when you look down, sort of like crawling like briefly, like you just catch the tail glimpse of it, like shedding out of your pant leg and sort of then like disappearing into like crevices in the house are like dozens of tiny reflective little spiders that like scurry off into the house.
Fuck.
Yuck.
What's
Oh my god, coming out of her pants.
What's wrong? Double E.
She has crotch spiders.
Wow.
That's what's wrong.
Wow.
Leg spiders.
I don't think our problem's over yet, but at the moment, I think we're fine. This is
Okay.
part where I'll need to deal with some things, but that's on me.
Asperia sort of whispers is like, I think we're gonna have to get an exterminator.
Yes, I do agree, Asperia.
All right.
You might want to adjust your pants a little.
Go change.
It just seems like something's
Well, actually, yeah, I should have actually asked what Emma is wearing, because Emma might not be wearing pants. So it might have been like crawling out of your shoe or something.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the sake of us, let's just call it pants so we don't have to retcon anything.
All right. Lucky, when you're at the bar, a young woman like slides over a drink.
Didn't even have to ask. What is it?
It looks basically like wine.
Okay. If it looks innocuous enough, I'll... Thanks.
So it's a tall, like willowy, fair woman. She has dark eyes, light hair, and her dress appears to be made out of living smoke. So it's just like shifting and like wreathing around her. It's the young woman who was not shooting death glares at you in the entourage of the ambassador. But when she slides the drink over at you, she just winks and then disappears into the crowd.
Oh my.
Mm.
That's definitely got my interest. I will just for now find somebody to talk to nearby. If the ambassador's still there, I might ask him if he knows that woman.
Ah, yes, that's a good question. So the ambassador is delighted to talk to you again, and is commenting on like your chiseled features and the chiseled sculpture, and but yeah, eventually if you ask, he's like, "Oh, who?" And then like looks around and says, "Oh, smoke. Yes. I think her name is Pira, Paella,
Paella.
Poppy. Yeah, Poppy.
Poppy, paella, two easily confused words.
Well, there are just so many people around.
I totally understand. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm just the ambassador.
Oh God, is she dead?
No. I find that's why I don't hang out so much in the embassy. I mean, I had my fill of the dead. Pail's full of them. The whole court, the Empress, everybody's dead. I'm dead. I like the vitality of the living.
Well, it seems you surround yourself with the right people for that.
Well, you exude so much creativity and positivity.
And I hope you always think that of me.
Well, you seem to any gestures at your hand because it's like cut up and like there's like little shards of like glass clinging to
Hey,
it. It's
Henry
bleeding.
wrapped it up.
She
Oh,
did wrap
Henrietta
it.
wrapped it up. Okay, so he's
Yeah.
looking down because your hand is wrapped, right? Like you injured
Yeah.
it. What did you do to your hand? This is a civilized party.
Well, you know, I try to bring some excitement when I can.
Was there a duel?
A small one.
Oh, delightful.
I'd be happy to
even.
tell you about it sometime when we're not in mixed company.
Of course. Some discretion. I'm always on the lookout for juicy gossip, especially among these living nobles.
Oh, you and me both. We'll get together. We'll swap stories sometime.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
I
You'll
will
know how to
politely-
find me. The embassy's hard to miss.
I'll politely excuse myself now.
Yeah.
And go, I'll find my friends, but I'm going to keep an eye on the crowd.
Yep. Henrietta? Emma?
Ladies?
Henry's just sort of she's just talking with like some people that she's mildly acquainted with, but doesn't know super well, just mingling, keeping an eye on Lucky.
Yeah, so you find yourself talking with Autumore Roth. Autumore Roth is a hat maker. He owns the Milliners Collective, which is a 3-story hat store here in the Marquis district. He is almost like sickly thin, like almost emaciated how thin he is, with a very narrow face and a large prominent nose. And he's talking your ear off about hats. Oh, he just has any hat you can imagine.
Well, that's just great. I mean, you know, especially once this whole situation changes, you know, you're going to need some different hats for different occasions if you don't have a human head anymore. So,
Absolutely. We make hats for all shapes, sizes, and configurations here in Saturnine. I mean, of course, you know about the specialness of my hats, right?
oh, of course, you know, I know a lot about your business, but with me being on the other side dealing with Vivash's weaves, you know, we handle the rest of the body going through changeries. But, you know, I will say that Vivash speaks very highly of you, and he always sends people your way when they're requesting new headgear for their...
Of course. I mean, who wouldn't want a sentient hat?
Yeah, you know, especially when you can toss it at things to collect coins from far away.
I don't know about that, but none of my hats appear to have that particular skill set, but they do know some delightful secrets, I'm told.
Oh, I'm sure. So you don't have a boomerang hat? A sentient boomerang hat?
I haven't tried to make one.
Perhaps that's next on your list of new experiments to try. I'm sure Vivash would be very interested to collaborate. You know, he's always looking for new, exciting things to make. That's with a
Perhaps-
capital M.
Yes, of course. Perhaps we could collaborate a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure he'd be delighted.
And he's like, well, please stop by the store anytime. And he tips his hat at you.
Absolutely. Are you wearing a sentient hat right now? What kind of secrets could it tell me?
Oh. My hat secrets are only for their owners, of course.
Oh. Oh, I see. Well, I'd love to tell it one.
Oh, really? Well, and he takes off his hat and spins it. You can speak to it if you want.
Oh. And she's gonna gently like sort of hold it so that her mouth is like going into it, but is
Yeah.
still like muffled, and she's gonna say something really secretive to it that you guys won't know.
Mhm.
Duh.
Yeah, and of course, so you whisper secret, and before the hat comes away, the hat whispers a secret to you.
Ooh.
So you can actually your like your hidden knowledge stat, you can add one to it.
Hell yeah.
So you have a secret.
Awesome.
A chat says that the hat should sound like Sam Elliott,
Mhm.
and I totally agree. The
Yeah.
hat strokes its glorious mustaches.
Yes.
Yes.
Fabulous. Well, lovely chatting with you.
And he sort of spins the hat and puts it back on his head, mustaches and all, because of course the hat now actually has physical
Yes.
has physical mustaches, of
It
course.
should.
Yeah. And he tips his hat again and says, "Milady."
No,
Good
no.
sir.
Yes. As soon as you started saying that, I was like, please say my lady.
I watch chat. I take your ideas seriously, chat.
Oh my god.
And as he walks, once he's out of like earshot, Henry just sort of like giggles to herself.
All right, excellent. All right, so I think at this point, like the party is like winding down. It's a fine reception. Do any of you as characters have anything particular that you want to seek out people to talk to or like ask questions of or anything like that while you have the opportunity?
Oh,
Particular.
perchance is the faceless man here?
The faceless man from Hiram's?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, you take a look around. You think he would stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people, so just making sure there's not anyone like him about.
No, there doesn't appear to be. The faceless men being thugs and bodyguards, generally.
Yeah. But you never know. So
Yeah. I mean, not having a face inside arena.
yeah, being
that
faceless is
weird.
sort of a stands out.
Yeah. All right, Lucky.
I will probably try and find the woman that gave me the drink just to thank her.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's generally hanging around in the entourage of the ambassador. So you can catch her attention again.
Looks like things are winding up. I just wanted to come over and say thank you.
Oh, of course. I just I overheard and had also attended the exhibit with the ambassador, and I know Soman a little bit, and I was intrigued by her work.
Oh, yeah, she's a wonderful artist. I'll have to get down and see the sculpture at some point myself because I have to admit, I'm a little ashamed to admit I haven't made the time.
Oh, such a shame. And she sort of giggles a little bit and like puts her hand like on your forearm when she does so, and says, "Oh, yes, you absolutely have to go. It's so wonderful, and of course, it's part of her entire exhibit is just so stunning. Truly some of her best work.
She was great to work with. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, and she extends her hand. My name's Poppy.
Lucky. Nice to meet
Well, just Lucky, just Poppy.
you. Surely somebody like you has more than one name.
I only need one.
Henry's gonna go get a drink.
Excellent. Why don't you? You're generally trying to like get on her good side, right? Build some rapport.
Yeah.
Excellent. Why don't we go ahead and have a social roll for this to see how? I mean, she's obviously sort of interested in you, but
Who is
so yeah. So do you have any skills you want to bring to bear here around social interactions?
Let's see.
Gaslighter.
Can I spend like a general interaction point?
You can. Yep, absolutely. You can spend Bene from your interaction pool. Although in this case, remember, so you're actually kind of off your game at the moment because you have an anguish.
Mhm.
Although you could spend one of your recoveries to remove the anguish.
Oh, okay. I'll do that then. I don't want
Yeah.
this anguish anymore.
Yeah, you sort of take 5 seconds to like collect yourself.
Yeah. Have a drink.
Yeah, turns
Try
out
to
self-care is in action.
Try to forget spider mirrors. All right. So am I just doing general roll +1?
Yeah, so you can spend a Bene from your interaction pool to add +1. If you have any skills, that will also add to it. I'm going to give you a circumstantial bonus of +1 because she's actually kind of interested in you.
Okay.
So that will apply, and of course you can spend sortilege if you want to roll extra dice if you want to like essentially empower your social suaveness with magic.
Absolutely.
Right.
I wasn't going to, but when you put it like that.
Yeah. The only downside is if you roll a 0.
Okay, so I have +2, right?
Right, but
Right.
rolling a 0 on the dice always triggers flux.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I was just making sure. Okay, so
Yeah.
the first roll is a 5, so 7.
Yep.
And a 9 plus.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, you don't know what her level is, but you are persuasive in chatting to her, so you leave a very good impression. Excellent. All right. So yeah, and then she exchanges some pleasantries, and she she doesn't give you the equivalent of her number or anything.
Right.
But she like drops some hints, like places that she can be found.
My. All right, I'll find Henry then.
All right. So the party winds down, and I think that is a good place for us to wrap up and move into our character summary portion of the game, where our characters will reflect on things that brought them joy and despair, and whether they advanced any of their character arcs. Yes, Emma, I know we could play for another hour, but I mean, we could inhabit these characters forever.
Forever.
Yeah, but we will be back. We will be back next week with more joy and despair. So let's go around and let's start with Henrietta.
All right.
Is there anything? I don't think there was necessarily anything from like your weaver or like things like that triggered joy and despair.
No, I mean she's pretty happy that she was able to use like the same spell twice, because that's
Yeah.
sort of um kind of nice. Like one of the things that like weavers want to do is have sort of spells sort of memorized or something that have
Yeah.
similar effects. So
Oh, right. So is that one of the things I didn't look on the Weaver that is on their like path to joy?
I'm not sure if it's exactly on their path to joy, but I know it's something that they can do is
Yeah.
eventually they can save spell like thread combinations that have similar effects and kind of bring them out on the fly.
Yeah. Let's just double check for a Weaver. So, spending a month instructing, winning a
Mhm.
match of the Spiders game, finding and recruiting a new member. So, yeah, no, but yes, definitely constructing routine things as a Weaver is good.
Mhm.
You are going to take a despair from the spider mirror because that was a shift on my part.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Getting
Yeah,
attacked by your own
getting
reflection.
attacked by your own reflection, not fun.
Yeah, it seems particularly poignant.
Yeah. And of course, I think we're probably not accumulating acumen from character arcs because this session was more focused on Emma Elizabeth.
Indeed. Yep. But yeah, everything was good. She was happy to be supportive, happy
Yeah.
to help Emma Elizabeth take care of something that might make her party a disaster rather than a success or the talk of the town for a while. So big win, helping a friend.
Yay.
Definitely. Excellent. And you got Milady too.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure
Sam,
did.
what about Lucky?
Okay, you had given me a point of despair.
Yes, for
Um,
seeing the like an apostate seeing some of the obvious benefits of being part of an order. In this case, like monetary exchanges and rewards.
yeah.
And I think probably through the night, like Emma Elizabeth was getting like old money, old relatives palming money into her hand through the night. So since money is harder to come by for you, I think the rewards of just being a goetic, like all she did was like progress in her order, big deal. So I think that was worthy of some despair.
Yeah, that's good. I needed some despair.
Lucky needs some despair in his life.
I think I opened a new arc.
Yes.
I don't know if that means anything.
So you spend some acumen to open the arc.
Okay.
And in this case, we're not revealing the details of the arc. So I think you already spent it, but then you basically accumulate acumen for progressing. So 162. Let me just open up the appropriate arc here. Make sure I look up the
Following along at home, everybody. Now we know the secret arc is on page 162.
162 is just the start of the character arcs section.
If you're following along at home, never mind, everybody.
It's here somewhere. There we go. Yes, so cost, you were interested in doing what you are setting out to do, so that costs you 2 acumen. But then the opening, in this case, you met the opening, so you get 1 acumen back.
Cool. Okay. I don't know if I really got any joy tonight. Kind of. I mean, I met 2 interesting people.
And you broke something with your hand.
And I broke something with my hand. I got to use a skill.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you had some like general joy, but not the things that bring you joy with a capital J.
Yeah, exactly. No, all in all, I had a good time. I have to.
Mhm.
Emma Elizabeth knows how to throw a shindig. Like
Oh,
you get
credit
to
Emma
bust a
Elizabeth that.
mirror,
Also, she owes me money.
and she owes you money. Yeah,
So
Mhm.
much money.
perfect.
It was a good
All right.
session for Lucky.
Yes. All right. So Emma Elizabeth. So I gave you a despair. For essentially, I introduced the shift that yes, the infection is indeed your fault.
Mhm.
Emma Elizabeth picked up a mirror virus infection in one of the seedy establishments that she likes to go to and brought it home to her parents' house.
Like a good reason to kill Hiram.
Mhm.
Yeah, because mirrors are a virus. There's regular mirrors, but now your house is infected by the viral kind of mirrors.
Mhm. Beyond that, I do feel like it was pretty good session for her. Like up until that point, I
Yeah.
feel like progressing in her order, shoving her lavish lifestyle in Lucky's face
Yeah,
was definitely a plus for her.
yeah, absolutely. And with a goetic in particular, some of the things that bring goetics joy. Thank you very much for the follow. Let me just double check this.
Oh, I need to make a note that Emma's house owes me a favor.
Um, yeah, so I think you get some joy, essentially tied to your side scene,
Yeah.
because you summoned an ancestral ghost, which is not a type of creature that you have ever dealt with before.
Yeah. Mm.
Yep. So you get some joy from that,
Neato.
and nothing for despair.
Mm.
And this was sort of the intention, at least on my part, but we can see if you agree or not. With your fall from grace arc, I was thinking the fact that like seedy association of yours potentially brought something back to your house, and while it hasn't been discovered yet, except by the house, that might be something that would like look badly in terms of Emma Elizabeth's social standing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think she's gonna do her best to like hide it and be like. I mean, honestly, I feel like she's gonna blame it on Lucky. Like that's probably what she's going to do. She's probably gonna start around like, "Ah, I can't believe it. I invited one of my friends and they brought this apostate. And now my house is a mirror virus. Like that's honestly what she's gonna be spreading around for the next week.
Right.
She's
So
blaming on Lucky. But like
yeah,
inside, she's gonna be like, fuck.
yeah. So because in the fall from grace arc, you sort of have multiple steps where you're on this like downward spiral.
Yeah.
And then you get like a point where you sort of have to choose, right?
Yeah.
And so you're kind of in that downward shame spiral where you're
Yeah.
like rapidly spinning lies and all
Yeah.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get an acumen for that.
Neato.
All right. And I am going to award all of you an additional acumen, just because all of you sort of advanced a lot more in terms of like some group dynamics, but the acumen is really about your discoveries. For like Lucky and Henrietta, you were sort of like moved into like a higher rung of society. You found out about a lot of places in Saturnine. So like discovery and growth is really what we're all about. And I think this was like a very formative event. So it is all worth acumen for all of you.
Hooray!
Yay.
All right. So
Did we do
excellent.
Henry?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
no worries.
All right. So we will sign off now. So why don't you remind people where they can find you and promote anything you have to promote. I have nothing to promote other than come back, watch us more. Saturday nights here at 9 p.m. Eastern, generally, most weeks, for Invisible Sun, unless we announce otherwise. Follow us on Twitter is the best way. You can see our links down below. You can support us on Patreon, which helps us do things like fund art, like our fantastic overlay from Sam here, and other art that we can buy as a channel for our games. And of course, we're running Dungeon of the Mad Mage, so if you're interested in some D&D, if you want to get in on a game, follow us on Twitter and look for shout outs and sign up sheets Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturday afternoons. We have Dungeon of the Mad Mage games going on involving members of the community. All right. So Sam.
Yay. I'm Sam. I'm 60 with Victor on Twitter. I do art, and you can see a drawing of Lucky on my pinned tweet. I recently did the cover for the first volume of the Uncaged anthology, which is on DM's Guild. Totally worth a look. Second one comes out in April, and I am also currently working on a fantasy fashion book, which is supported on Patreon, and there's more information about that on my Patreon page, which is also linked in my pinned tweet. Very informative. So.
Excellent. Yes, it is a good pinned tweet. full of stuff. And Uncaged is awesome, and the cover art is great, and I'm so happy it's doing so well. And I can't believe the next one's coming out already in April.
It's actually all 4 volumes are written.
Yeah.
It's just a question of
putting them together and going through production.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Awesome. I like keeping that momentum going.
Yep.
Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie. You can follow me at Alphabet Seeds on Twitter. Mostly Sam's hype woman. You'll follow me just because I'll retweet Sam and Alex's and Corey's and Dan's and Variant Roles. Everyone else's amazing accomplishments. I'm just here for the content, and I'm just here to be here. Y'all should sign up to be a part of this thing, because and I have great lipstick. Thank you.
Has the best lipstick.
It's true. Yeah, I'm here to bring good lipstick, puns, and hype. Yeah, hype. Variant roles. Do it.
Excellent. Things we can all use more of in our life, quite frankly. So
and
lipstick and hype.
Lipstick and hype.
Lipstick and hype.
Puns. Yeah, don't forget the puns.
Hey,
yeah.
Excellent. Yes, even I had to put on not much, but I had to put on a spot of makeup today to deal with some facial blemishes. So
ain't no shame.
And I'm like, I should probably wear more of this to deal with my face on stream. Excellent. All right, Alex.
Hey everybody. I like Annie on Twitter function as Sam's Page 2 Electric Boogaloo. But I also have my own Twitter at AxolotlCure, where I mostly talk about Dungeons and Dragons and ask really fucking stupid questions like, why don't your dragons grapple your PCs, fly 160 feet up, and fucking drop them? Why does that not happen? That's the kind of nonsense you'll see on my page. And I'm running a game, assuming I'm not slain by my engineering exams over the summer. Variant roles in Ravnica, featuring fucking Dwarf Cricket in chat and maybe Sam and a bunch of other really rad people. So you should fucking watch that over the summer if I'm not slain by Dr. Stoppel and her heat flow exam.
Excellent. I am looking forward to it. So thanks everyone for hanging out. Thank you so much, chat. You have been phenomenal feedback tonight. And we appreciate it. I watch you the whole time because you're entertaining.
Yes. Thank you guys for interacting with us and commenting, and it really means a lot to us, I think.
It's fun, yeah.
It's good to have engaged viewers, and that kind of feedback kind of lets us know that you're enjoying yourselves. So
Absolutely. And the new low latency mode works really well. So like we're getting stuff back because you're like watching
Yeah.
us much closer to real time.
Yeah.
So
and then we get great suggestions like Milady.
Yeah.
great suggestions like
perfect.
Milady
A treasure.
Yeah.
Treasure.
that I get to deploy.
Yes.
So yes.
Make Dan say more silly things.
Do
That's
it,
what we
yes.
want.
Yes.
And I managed to flirt with almost everybody tonight, and occasionally while I was a house, while I was a dead person, you know,
Oh my God, does the house have a crush on Henrietta?
Why not?
I think the house kind of does.
Yeah. I'm here for it. Ship.
I mean,
Yeah.
who wouldn't? But
So
I
yeah.
love it.
So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Monty Cook Games for the host again. Thanks for the raid from Dice Priori. And thanks for the new followers we gained tonight. We gained a bunch of new followers, and that was fantastic. And your donations and all of that. It's great. Means a lot. So we love you all, and we'll see you all again soon. Night, everybody.
Bye.